This is the Grow Business Podcast with Cory Mosley and Kerry James.
I think this is it.
This is it.
This is it.
The big one.
This is the big one.
We're talking about it.
Yes,
And here
we
we
have been
are.
talking about it. Yes. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Grow Business Podcast. I'm your host, Cory Mosley, and I'm joined by...
Kerry James.
That's right. We are here. Episode 001. The start.
Right. The launch.
The beginning.
Serves some sort of something, doesn't it?
Right, there should be. Well, it was like they call it a pregnant pause, a dramatic pause,
Yes,
right?
right.
Episode 1, it's so important. We're so excited.
Yeah.
Show them the excitement.
Woohoo.
Exactly. I wasn't expecting that. All right. We got some sound things going on here.
Thank you, William.
We're also joined in the studio by our engineer, William, who will be the maestro of making sure this all happens and goes well. And he'll also be sending us fun facts through our computers.
Intricate part of the
during
program.
the show.
William.
Yeah, when things come up. But super excited to have you guys. If first-time listeners, if you never, we're going to use today's show to really give you a preview, give you some insights on the things that we'll be talking about in the future. Kind of my origin story. If you're new to me, this isn't my first rodeo as far as podcasts are concerned. I produced a podcast for a number of years called the Fearless Entrepreneurship Podcast, which was mainly about interviewing other entrepreneurs and other business owners and their story and their feedback. And I really enjoyed doing that, but I felt like I just wanted an outlet to go further, go deeper, not rely on the guest
Right.
to, make the impact, but to really be able to, I guess, say what I want to say.
And share your own expertise and experience and knowledge.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And so that's what we're going to accomplish here. That's what we're doing here. Our mission is very simple. We want to help you grow your business. So if you're an entrepreneur, small business owner, if you are part of an organization, head of sales, head of marketing, you're a business within a business many times. People think the only path to have an impact or to think or how to have an entrepreneur's mindset is when you are carrying the freight 100%. But the reality of it is, if you're inside an organization, you can have an entrepreneur's spirit. If you lead a team or manage a team, you can apply some of these same principles here. So if that's you, if you've been looking for a way to get some valuable information, there's everybody's after our attention, right? All social media, everybody's after our attention, whether it's, family, friends, the job,
Right.
Social media, everybody's after
whatever.
attention, right? So, part of what we want to do is we want to be a source to entertain you, have some fun, but give you some actionable things, create some thought starters, create some aha moments. My life's work and the idea behind it is I simply want people to be better off once they've been in my sphere.
And gain valuable knowledge.
Correct.
That they can now apply.
And have value. I mean, have information, think about something differently. I mean, those are my goals. If someone can listen to what we're doing here and go, you know what, I can relate to that. That happened to me.
Yes.
These are good ideas. This is something I haven't thought about before. And I was entertained. And man, those boys are crazy over there. I think there's going to be a lot of that. You're going to see a lot of that.
You just
as
said
we
a
go
key
on.
word, relate. And
Yeah.
I think that's something you do very well is you take situations and make them honestly and authentically relatable to the listener or viewer.
Well, I appreciate that, and I think that's the goal. So, if you're somebody that you don't have a lot of time, but you want to have something entertaining, Kerry, you run 3 to 5 miles every day. You're a big listener, right? That's part of you're on the treadmill and you're listening. Yeah. So I think there's a lot of people like that. But right, you do that every day, and you have to make a decision on what you're going to listen to. So you try to choose the things that are most valuable for that. How long does it take you to run 3 miles?
3 miles is 30 minutes.
Okay, I can't stand you.
It's 3.5 miles.
Yeah, I think that's how long it takes me to walk 1 mile. Okay.
But the point being, you got a block of time.
Right.
And you choose.
I can't stand you is the point when it comes
That's
to that.
the point.
But yeah, no, go ahead. You were saying.
But you have a block of time every day, and
Yeah.
you do choose what content you want to influence
Correct.
your day or kind of steer you in the behavior
Correct.
traits you want to exhibit.
And you may be a different phase of your business. You may be an entrepreneur. It's like you're considering it. This is going to be a place for you. You may be seasoned in business. 15 years. You may have been in business 20 years, but maybe you're having some challenges. Maybe you're stuck, stalled, stagnant, right? Maybe you are looking for a place to learn techniques to retain better people, retain better employees. You want to increase your revenue. You're doing well, but you want to do better. So you want to increase your revenue and profitability. Maybe, that word scaling gets thrown around so much in the industry. Maybe you want to scale, but you don't know how to scale effectively because you've been doing it one way for all of these years.
And you're stuck in that calcification.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, we're going to use some fancy words too on here. Calcification. Yes. Understood. I love it. So, scaling. Maybe you're overwhelmed and you want to try to get greater clarity with what you're doing. There's so much information coming out. There's so much, stuff on social media and how you should be doing this and how you should be marketing that. And you've got all those questions. We're going to tackle all of those topics and help you skill up.
I like that.
Right?
Skill up.
We want to help you skill up in these areas that maybe are concerning you, because ultimately you've got some people who are behind the 8 ball and now want to get ahead. And you've got people who simply want to spend time acquiring knowledge so they can keep the momentum that they've already established. So all of those things are going to be here. And for those of you again that are meeting me for the first time, that are getting familiar with me, never heard my name till you started streaming this. The reality is I've dedicated pretty much my whole adult life to working with businesses, working with business owners, working to create strategies, and what we call strategies that work, right? You can have a lot of people have opinions, but really implementing those strategies across the groundwork. Now, for me, I don't know about you. What did you think you were going to be when you were younger? What was your goal?
This isn't actually too far off.
Okay.
So
broadcasting and
performing arts.
Performing arts.
So
okay.
This is actually pretty close.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I want to be an attorney. So, and I'm probably the only person you ever will meet who at 13, their favorite TV show was LA Law.
Yeah.
Okay. I want you to imagine, 13 years old.
I can see you in front of the TV. Yes.
What are you guys watching? No, I've got no time for that. I've got no time to play. I need to see what Arnold Becker is doing, what they're doing at the law firm of McKinsey Bratt. I need to know what is going on LA Law.
Yeah.
And, in my live presentations, when I speak, when I do my keynotes and workshops across the country, I have a picture of the original cast of LA Law.
LA Law, yeah.
And in that cast is a guy named Blair Underwood. Famous actor, right? Yeah. Black actor. And the joke when I have it on screen is, I know most of you thought I would probably assume I wanted to be that guy. Yeah. Right? If you're listening to this on the streaming service, spoiler alert, I am black. so this has better context if you know that.
Right.
But the joke is I didn't want to be him. I wanted to be the character played by actor Corbin Bernsen, which was Arnold Becker. He was the divorce attorney. He was the guy that drove the Bentley, took in the big fees. Right. So I was like, yes, I am interested in that. I want to be that guy. And I was in a law program at 14 with one of the largest law firms in the state of Virginia, where I resided at that time and now reside again, originally from New Jersey. And I had a mentor in that program, and he he drove this beat up car. He always looked like he was one step away from a stroke. This is a young guy.
Okay. Attorney?
Yeah. He was over $200,000 in debt, you know, paying off law school, all those things.
Okay.
And, you know, his real plan was like to work himself to death for 15 years to hopefully make partner.
Okay.
You know, because
Sure.
that's the
goal, right?
right. That's the
term.
kind of the that's the thing,
Try
right?
to achieve that
be
one,
an equity
right?
partner, be a partner. And I quickly went, yeah, this doesn't look like Arnie Becker. This doesn't look like LA law, and I don't think I want to do this anymore.
Yeah. And yet you probably could have sat down and passed the bar right then there.
You're very kind.
Well,
very kind of you, Kerry. But so it just completely changed my perspective. So I had to really say, now what did I want to do? What were the skill set? I was a competitive speaker in school. So this was always very natural, communicating in front of an audience, extemporaneous speech, training in these different things. So, you know, I was that guy hosting the William was there. William and I go back to school days. You know, I was the guy leading the assembly and the awards presentation.
Yeah, I can see
to where,
that.
of course, I needed to make sure I got some awards for myself. But I still have those. Shout out to my mother who's got the shrine. I made her
Cory Mosley
I made her
shrine.
put a shrine in her house. That has like my trophies and my, you know, best attendance and all these other things, all these other things that I got. But it was like, what else? What area was I going to go in? Because I also started to come into this kind of sphere of influence where, you know, I had this friend, and at the time, and he was connected. His family was in the construction business, or the second or third extension of the family was in the construction business. And, you know, I started to get exposed to some things that I thought were very interesting. You know, I'd never been on a large boat, a yacht-esque boat before, or just, you know, really thought about those things. And so like, man, what am I going to do? And I found the auto industry. And I came into the auto industry, the retail auto industry, at a time where this thing called the internet
was birthing.
Yeah, was just starting. And no one really knew what to do with that as it relates to, you know, how do you buy a car online?
Right.
So I was in my teens. I was 18 years old already, working in an auto industry.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
That means, like, that's young.
Yeah, of course.
That's
for
really
sure.
young.
For sure. So I was 18 years old working in the auto industry. So that had advantages and disadvantages. One of the disadvantages is, you know, everything was, you know, the kid. What do you know, the kid, right? Which is very annoying. But when the internet came in, it also made me the person who knew how to turn the computer on.
You were the go-to.
Which made me the default manager, if you want to call it that, of that department, that idea, that entity. You know, give it to the kid. We don't know anything about this computer stuff. And this probably isn't going to last anyway. This is probably going to go away.
Yeah.
This is a fad. People are always going to want to come in and face-to-face and do all that stuff.
Yeah, and here we are.
So the uniqueness of that and the opportunity was, of course, now I got to learn a skill that not too many people had an advantage on ahead of me. You could maybe have a 2-year head start, 2 or 3 year maximum head start in terms of a knowledge base in that particular space of business.
Yes.
It wasn't like my manager who had already been in the auto industry for 20 years or 30 years. So like where it's like, I don't have a chance per se of excelling quickly because there's so many people before me that have a deeper knowledge base because they've been around longer.
Sure.
Right? It's kind of like, you know, you start tomorrow as a plumber fresh out of school. Well, you're not going to be the master plumber yet.
Right.
Because there's a guy that's been plumbing for 50 years.
You'll be an apprentice.
Right. So this gave me a unique opportunity, and I didn't know it immediately at that point because I was more begrudging, like, why do I have to deal with this?
Sure.
You know, all these guys, these guys are getting all the customers on the floor.
Big commissions. And
yeah, exactly. So, but it was a blessing because ultimately now I created this, I took on this skill set that I was able to go on and leverage and create companies and businesses out of and consult and speak all over the country and work with dealers, work with people 30 years my senior, and have them paying to get that advice.
Just thinking about your origin.
Yeah.
You were 18. You were being paid to learn a technical skill where a lot of other 18-year-olds were paying to learn.
Well, yeah, being paid. I mean, being paid,
but
let's not get crazy because that's a commission-driven structure. So
but
no one was footing the bill per se.
You were still getting this tremendous education.
I was getting an education at, it still was no ticky, no shirty though. Right. So there still was that element of that there, but it did position me, allowed me to do some things, allowed me to now turn that into a business, turn that into an income, create an opportunity for my family, create an opportunity for myself. Signed my first Fortune 100 corporate client at the age of 27. So, and what was unique there is I'm not a college graduate. So what's very unique there is in the auto world, and I don't think it's changed, but in the auto world, you could not work for a manufacturer without a college degree.
Oh.
So the irony of that day, going to the mailbox, being hired by a company that I couldn't work for, being hired as a consultant to go into their franchisees, because auto car dealers are franchisees, except for Tesla and a couple of exceptions, but are franchise organizations, right? To be dispatched and paid by a major corporation that I could not work for as an employee, and to go to my mailbox that day and get a check out of the mailbox that was more than what I would have made in a year as a assistant, as a field rep or something like that, is such a mind-shifting experience.
Right.
Because
the possibilities now,
it's such a game changer. Because so many people use the fact that they didn't go to college as a crutch or a limitation. Now, you want to be a doctor, you want to be a lawyer. I don't have anything for you. You gotta. You can't really shortcut that process. Right. But even now, the corporate like Alphabet and Meta and these guys, Google, if you don't Alphabet parent company, but Google for an easier relatable term.
Excellent.
Now you can go through their coursework.
Yep.
Now you've
faster
got
pace.
Yeah. So you've got these different things that didn't exist, 20 some odd years ago, or longer, I should say. But now, you want to be in a specialty profession, you need to have that. But sales and marketing, you can self-learn, you can do a lot of different things to position yourself. As people are finding out in this new wave of an economy, right, where you can just make money from posting videos. So So it was it was that journey, right, that shaped a lot of that, and to go on and work for some of these other corporations and to really just do a lot of stuff, which I'm very Googleable, as I like to say to people. Not from an arrogant standpoint. I'm not a guru of any sort or anything like that, or trying to be that, but I'm very Googleable. So not going too deep into that piece, but just understanding the origin for people who are new listeners or new to me also. My philosophy and the things we're going to talk about, because I'm very direct also, is really steeped in three things. Because I've been able to now obviously do a lot of work in that space, but now I'm fortunate enough and blessed to work with business owners across the country in all genres, in all genres of business, and because all of those things that we were doing when we were building these sales and marketing juggernauts inside these car dealerships, and even now going on to advise manufacturers, create programs, run programs. I mean, there's going to be a lot of great stories to be told here. Fun fact. People don't know that, a few years ago, Volkswagen, you're a Volkswagen owner.
Yes.
Volkswagen got in a little bit of trouble in what they call Dieselgate. You may remember that.
That's why I got a deal on my Volkswagen.
Is that?
Yeah. Well, they're trying to repair their image.
So what you didn't know till right now is I was running a program for Volkswagen dead in the middle of Dieselgate and was caught in the middle of it. Literally working through a crisis moment with one of the world's largest corporations. Daily calls, daily demands, all these different things. Navigate. You know how much knowledge you learn about crisis management when you are involved in a crisis.
You probably could have taught courses on public relations and crisis management. I'm not kidding.
I have a keynote presentation that I've delivered for some time called PR crisis management in the social media world. But the things that you learn from being being on calls with lawyers and crisis control, and because we were running a program that involved outbound communications to customers that wanted to buy cars. So I want you to imagine when this is going on, what everybody wanted to talk about when they were getting called about their interest in buying Volkswagen. No, we want to know what's going on with the news. What's going on with this? Right. So there's just so much knowledge, and we're going to get into all those stories, and we're going to talk about a lot of that stuff as we go on. But I want everyone to understand 3 key things. Number 1, the things that we're talking about and that we're going to be getting into and diving into, the origin of my philosophy is 1, past successes and failures and really dissecting those and sharing that information because it's not all about wins. In this journey, we all get, if you haven't been punched in the face yet in your entrepreneurial journey, God bless you, but know it's coming. Business philosopher Jim Rohn, who's no longer with us, but Jim Rohn talked about the seasons, right? The seasons when you're sowing seeds, the seasons when you're reaping the benefit of the harvest.
You mean Grant?
No,
Jim Rohn.
Jim Rohn. Jim Rohn. Well, we'll get you on the.
See, this is all educational to me. I'm a student of the.
Mosley program. But the seasons come, right? You're riding high one moment, then the next minute, you know, it's kind of like, and you can look at it. People describe it differently, right? Yin and yang, right? Joy. You can't have joy without also having what?
Loss
or pain, sadness, right? Joy, pain, right? So yin yang, you have the seasons,
right?
Winter, spring, summer, and there's the seasons of business also. So, you know, there's a lot to be told in that area, and that's one of the things I'm very excited about digging in, because these are things that I really have never shared or really had a format to share. When you're going in and work with an organization, they didn't hire you to talk about what didn't work.
And right.
Now, they might have hired you based on your success story, your background, your track record, and that's why people will hire me or bring me into an organization or a company, but
they don't know your backstory. They don't know.
Right. Now, they're right, but not in this context. So the ability to really get that out there. So if you're somebody that is struggling, having challenges, or wants some insights to what's coming, you know, you're going to get that. So it's really about those past successes and failures. John Maxwell calls it failing forward also.
I like that.
You know. Number 2, being a student. Every day we're immersed in content, best practices, strategies, what's working, what's not working. We're studying. You know, we've got a network of great people. If you're not familiar, we have a whole business network, rvasbn.com, where I'm interviewing some of the best minds in the world.
Experts in their field.
Experts in their field, in the world. So I want to share things with you that are a product of me being a student, not me being a guru.
Right, yeah.
Right? I'm happy to say so-and-so developed this concept, and I'm so excited to share it with you because you may not have time to do this. It is my business to study business.
Yes.
Right?
Right.
Where you're running your business every day.
Yeah.
So your ability to give attention to every piece of information, I want to be a source. I want us to be a source. I want you to be able to go to growwithcory.com and go to our learning section and be a source for the things that you need to know that can impact your business the most. So we study and share. We talk about the past and the lessons learned for the future. And the third thing is, I want to share what's working right now.
Right now.
Right. As we run our business.
Yep.
As we run the media network, as we run Thought Leadership Studios, as I run Mosley Strategy Group, as we share these strategies across the country, as we share inside our coaching program, as we share inside of our weekend workshops where we're transforming businesses in 3 days.
And this is your insight that you're passing along. Hey, this is what worked for us.
Yeah. And I think that's important. That's why we want to set the tone here. you know, and I don't want everything to be so serious, but I think it's important as new listeners, as a new listener, if you're listening to episode 1 and making some decisions, I want you to know what you're going to get. Now, we're going to have a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun as a company. We have a lot of fun as a team. We're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to share some stuff. There's going to be some wild moments. But I think it's important to know where I'm coming from.
Your philosophy.
And, you know, Kerry, you're here to support this effort and support what we're doing. But you're a 15, 20-year broadcaster.
Yeah.
You've interviewed leaders, business owners, people across the country. You're a professional spokesperson. You have your media experience is going to be very valuable here. Also, your perspective, and
but also my curiosity.
Yeah, your curiosity. I like that. Right, in the extract things out of me that maybe I'm not talking about. And folks, if you can't see because you're listening, Kerry is much older than me. So he's going to provide generational insights.
Thank you, William, for that close-up on my gray hair.
Kerry, that was great. That was good timing there. Kerry's going to provide generational insight that I can't provide yet because, Kerry, as the saying goes, you've been my age. I have not been yours.
Right. But when I was your age, I was unfortunately not learning about the internet as you were.
I understand.
That is impressive.
Right.
When you were 18.
Kerry was around, though, when they discovered fire. So
in 93, when you were watching Law and Order, I was watching 90210.
L.A. Law. L.A. Law.
I'm sorry. L.A. Law.
Yes, L.A. Law.
I'm watching 90210. So it's...
Yes. We took different paths, but we're here together.
We are here together today.
I won't even unpack
demographic.
Yeah, I won't even unpack that what he's saying there. But that's what you're going to get here, and I think it's just important to understand that. And really, the goal here is to come from a place of service.
Yes,
to come from a place of service. Your ability to hear what we have to say and be impacted in some way. Now, if I can change your life, great. If I can give you one nugget that you go take action on
and can apply it,
that makes you $1 more in your business.
And sometimes that's all it takes just to start those wheels turning, to get that mind working. And
I love when a client says to us in our coaching program, I love when a client says, I had never considered that. I had that somebody said it to me yesterday. I said, why don't my statement was, why don't you approach it this way? Let me just throw something at you, right?
Right.
And they paused. They took in what I had to say and paused for a moment, and they just said, I had never even thought about it that way.
Right.
I think this will make a difference.
And that's that.
And
right.
so
And exactly, you get
so good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because you know they're getting it now.
Yeah.
And they're like that, you know.
Yeah, it's so good. So that's what they're in for. That's what they're in for. And that's what you guys are in for. And everything we talk about is generally going to fall into what I call the 5 pillars of business growth. Now, I've developed this framework that has proven to be successful for our clients for a long time. Now, I didn't know at the time, 20 years ago, when I started consulting and working with people, that hadn't developed itself yet.
Okay.
But what I looked at was the landscape of all the clients, all the consulting work, all the coaching, all these different factors, studying these businesses. I said, okay, if I want to look at the context and the umbrella of growth, because that's what I'm about. You know, there's people who specialize in startups, and you know, exits and all these other things. I really focus on growth.
Yes.
And how we go from A to Z, or how we grow. But I realized, and this is what formed the foundation for the 5 pillars, which is what I talk about, and you will hear me reference the 5 pillars over and over again, that the foundation for that was my now belief system and subsequent proven model, framework, that any business growth challenge falls under one of 5 key areas, which I refer to as the pillars. And that challenge, in order to overcome it, is going to fall into one of these 5 areas. It's either mindset, it's either sales related, marketing related, operations, or people. whatever your situation is. And while that may sound obvious, it may not be groundbreaking information to you, the reality of it is your key to unlocking growth starts with your ability to put into context
right,
what you need to do to actually grow and get to the proverbial, it's an overused word, but next level.
Yeah.
But to get to that next rung, having that context now, being able to have an aha moment and go, all right, I know we want to grow sales. I know we want to grow revenue. First off, where are my challenges? And of course, they cross over, but there's always a base.
But these 5 pillars are what enable you to structure your journey.
That's right. Because you got to identify, right? So do I have a customer service issue? And is that customer service issue based on my policies and procedures, which is operations? Or is it based on my people? Do I have the wrong people doing the job? Do I have angry people in customer service? There's some businesses that I go to and people, and I say to myself, I can't imagine why this person is at the front desk.
Right. Or maybe your marketing approach is all wrong. You're using different platforms you shouldn't do. There could be a whole...
Correct. But I got to look at that. So we have the 5 pillars, and then within the 5 pillars, this is the strategy that's created millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue over 20 years for various companies, right? Within that, I've got to do 3 things. I've got to identify the pillar. I've got to isolate the issue within it. And then I attack the problem.
Right.
In the military, the SEALs say, they call it working the problem.
Yes.
We work the problem, right? So I say attack the problem. Identify, isolate, and then attack. And if you could apply that framework, I just gave this to you all for free. You don't have to buy the secret, right? The secret is free. Implementation will cost you, right? But go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, because I hear you on the phone with other clients periodically, and they follow these 5 pillars, and it's really clear, because if you just follow these 5 pillars, and then you identify, you isolate the issue, and then you attack it, you will be successful. Your business will grow. It's a pretty simple thing. If you just do this, the outcome will be success, will be efficacy.
And as I say, most of us operate, and I'll use the word guilty for lack of a better word. I'm guilty of this too, because it's unavoidable. When you are, as the saying goes, you can't see the picture when you're in the frame. So I rely on coaches or consulting with people inside of our business, no matter how smart I think I may be or how strategic I may be, because many times it's tough to take your own advice.
Sure.
Or you don't even take your own advice. We're doling that stuff out. We're doling that stuff out. But we don't take the advice, and you're guilty. It's something you work on, right? It's not. It's no one's got the perfect situation. Even people who have great businesses a lot of them don't have perfect businesses. But we're going to tackle into these different things that you can to make these tweaks, because it's the sum total. Just like I say, people don't go out of business overnight unless there's some significant event that happens.
Sure, right.
It's an erosion.
Over the course of time.
Yeah, over the course of time.
Yeah.
The same could be said to growth. So the same things that could cause you to lose your business or go out of your business in a slow manner, you can now make these slow changes. So we don't have to get radical. Now, I'm going to say some radical things over time. I'm probably going to say some contrarian things or different things of that nature. But I also know that we can't be so one-track minded as to prevent ourselves from having a growth event. The mind is like an umbrella. It works better when it's open. Right?
Right.
So that's the piece. So if you're saying now, okay, great, I don't know what my next move should be, you're in the right place. If you're saying, you know what, I'm tired of being up all night in the YouTube trap of watching 87,000 different videos, you're in the right place.
Yeah.
I'm feeling stuck. I'm feeling stalled. I'm feeling stagnant. You're in the right place.
Mm-hmm.
I feel overwhelmed.
Yeah, I hear that one.
Because that's something a lot of business owners, right?
Yeah.
I feel overwhelmed. I got all these roles I have to play. Well, you're going to hear my opinion on do-it-yourself stuff.
Uh-huh.
And you're going to hear things from me like professionals hire other professionals when they need help. So you're going to hear some of these hard things and some of these direct things. You're in the right place. If you're having challenges with market penetration, reaching your target market, having the right mindset, staying optimistic in the face of adversity.
Right. Which is not
Things aren't
easy for
moving
a lot of
faster. You're
people,
not growing faster.
Yeah.
All these things are happening. These are all real realities. And your mind gets challenged all the time. Your mindset, your optimism gets challenged. Your faith
Sure. Right.
can get challenged as a business owner on a day-to-day basis, right? You're in the right place because we're going to cover those things. Operational efficiencies, scaling, and looking at it from different angles. I didn't go to formal college, right? So there's this element of field learning. But I do know that there are academic principles that all need to be looked at. So when everyone was doing XYZ through COVID, I went to the Wharton School of Executive Education and sought these certifications, sought this information at an academic level to contrast and fold into the field work, the school of hard knocks, the stuff that you're learning on the field of battle, and fusing those things together. Because some people will go, "Oh, I don't need that formal stuff," but it was very interesting things that I learned in that scaling protocol, in that academic environment, particularly from the types of minds and adjunct professors and people that an organization like a Wharton School of Business, Executive Education would have available to them. People who've bought and sold billion-dollar businesses, $500 million businesses, to have those insights and to go deeper in technical knowledge is very impactful. And then now, because that's something that the average business owner, 90% of small businesses don't ever make $1 million, don't hit $1 million in a single year. So the average small business owner is not thinking about corporate structures and mindsets or processes.
Or are they
things at that level.
targeting the right customer?
Yeah. But they're not thinking about that in terms of where they want to get their lessons from.
Right. I got you.
Because a lot of times information is the blind leading the blind. Oh, this is what I'm using for XYZ. This is what I'm using for this, that, and the other. Great. What's that pay? I mean, how much are you making? How much? Where's that advice coming from? Beware of the
random
advice.
internet.
Yeah, random internet. Yeah. So that's the ball game. So if these are the things that interest you, that connect with you, you want to strengthen the mindset, you want to get into some of the nuances of sales and things to look out for, these observations in real business life, these things that maybe because you're working in the business, you're not putting the necessary time to work on the business as you should, you're in the right place.
Yes. Because ultimately this is going to help you increase your revenue and your profitability.
Grow, baby. It's in the title.
It's right there.
It's in the title.
It, man.
It's not the business podcast. This is grow.
Yeah.
So with those stories come those lessons. With those lessons come those stories. Plus, minus.
Grow the revenue, grow the profitability, grow your education.
Yeah. There's things that don't make sense, and we're going to get into them. This thing, there's opinions, but there's things ultimately at the end of the day, I simply want our listeners to go, does this make sense or not? I don't need the commentary. I don't, you can disagree. I'm okay with that. If we talk about a strategy or an idea or, Cory, I get no problem.
Right.
Do what works for you.
Yeah.
But the goal here is to get you to consider some things.
Yeah.
To educate you, motivate you, and activate you.
That activates the one. That action.
Yeah.
Take action.
Right, but you got to you want to give them information.
Yes.
You want to get people motivated to do it.
Yeah.
And then you want them activated to take action.
Right.
Because that is a big one for a lot of different reasons.
Yeah.
Because the average person's got a drawer full of notes.
Yes.
In the drawer.
And a drawer full of excuses.
Myself included. I go back and look at journals and look at some things, notes that I took, and I don't throw that stuff away. I'm like, oh, this was really good.
Yeah.
I didn't do anything with this. This was a really good process, a really good strategy. I didn't do anything with this.
But you kept it around.
But we also have to stay at the front of the learning curve too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, oh my gosh.
Because I look at that strategy. Also, I wrote it down in 2015, and it would never fly. What we might do today didn't even exist. Yes. Right?
And that's something we constantly have to be aware of.
Let me go check on my Blab channel. You don't even remember.
Are we still a member of MySpace?
You don't remember. Do you remember Blab?
I don't.
Yeah, you don't even remember it. But
I know where you're going with that.
Let me pull up my Vine account right now. Do it for the Vine, right? So this moves so fast in terms of what comes into our ecosystem.
Yeah.
Because, if we were doing this podcast a couple years ago, we wouldn't be talking about TikTok as we will talk about. We wouldn't be talking about some of these things.
And next year, we'll be talking about something else that doesn't exist today.
Yeah. Or something came and went or merged or became something else.
Yes, or came and went.
So this is the place, folks. If you want to be entertained, you want to have a good time, you want to learn some stuff, you want to hear some stories.
We've got stories to tell.
That might uplift you, some stories that might make you sad,
Yeah.
I'm going to get into all of them. I'm going to get in. I'm thinking of some now that, and I've never told because I've never maybe felt comfortable.
Okay.
Like exposing that part.
Oh, this is where you do it right here.
I'm some things are.
It's a little more intimate. On
some things are coming. I mean, some things are coming to me now that I'm like, am I going to talk about that?
You gotta.
You
should.
That's the plan.
Yeah.
So we are fortunate to have you. Welcome to episode 1. We're going to turn this thing up. We're going to get engaged. We're going to connect. We want to get to know you as an audience. If you have colleagues and contemporaries and people that could benefit from something like this and what we're doing here, I invite you to share this with them. Mm-hmm. Also use our website as a resource, growwithcory.com, where we've got the podcast, we've got other video content and educational content. All of our content is 100% free. I don't sell any courses. Mm-hmm. If you're interested in working with us after absorbing my information, understanding our philosophies, understanding our strategies, hearing what we have to say, hearing my approach to certain things and my belief systems, we have ways for you to do that. We invite you into our Business Accelerator program. I'd love to see you live at one of our weekend workshops. I'd love to have you right here in this studio for one of our thought leadership interviews. Yep. We give you the opportunity to do that. But in the meantime, enjoy.
Right. And as you said, for our viewers and our listeners, you, Cory, are Googleable. They can look you up right now.
Yeah. Or they can just go to growwithcory.com. We don't need them all over the internet, right? That's the problem for some people now, right? We all go down that rabbit hole.
Right.
You look up and it's 2 hours later and you're on the 37,000 TikTok, right? So we're going to get out of here. Mm-hmm. This has been episode 1. We wanted to lay the foundation for what's to come. I hope you saw value here, learning a little bit of the story, understanding our approach, and whatever method you're using here. If you're streaming on your favorite app, if you're streaming on Spotify, click follow. If you're on Apple, click follow. If you're watching this via our YouTube channel, click subscribe. If you're on our website, join our newsletter so you know when this stuff comes out and we share it. Some of these things will hit you right between the eyes.
Yeah.
Because it might be something you're dealing with right now or something you're guilty of doing. because I'm going to be talking about things I've observed and I observe in business transactions with companies as a customer, with clients. All of it's on the table.
But ultimately, all of this knowledge, all of this education that you're providing for free is going to help our listener, our viewer that we're providing, help them, as you said at the beginning of our discussion, skill up.
Right. Grow.
That's
the name of the game. So I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. I hope this has been a good use of your time. I appreciate this introduction. I appreciate you giving us the opportunity to pour into you and really set the stage for what we're going to be doing, what we're going to be talking about. I'm so thankful to have this medium and have this outlet and have this opportunity to pour into those that are interested in growing, that maybe connect with me, connect with my philosophy. Hopefully you feel the passion and authenticity of what we're talking about and what we're doing, and we want to make you a part of it and welcome you to the family. I'm Cory Mosley.
I'm Kerry James.
And this is 001 of the Growth Business Podcast. We'll see you soon.